A naval nurse named Josie Brown, serving in a naval hospital in Great Lakes, Illinois, described scenes at her workplace during the 1918 Spanish flu epidemic. When she said, "The morgues were packed almost to the ceiling, with bodies stacked on top of each other. The morticians worked day and night, and you couldn't turn around without seeing a big red truck loaded with caskets." I'm making the claim that an impactful pandemic is very likely to happen in the United States in the near future. I will prove this by explaining how past pandemics in the United States are a precursor to the future, how the conditions in the United States today create a prime environment for a pandemic to occur, and that the present state of the American healthcare system is ill-prepared for such a pandemic. My first point of argument is that the past pandemics are a precursor to the future. This sets the stage and gives a little bit of history to pandemics in the United States. Between 1832 and 1849, 150,000 Americans died from cholera. Cholera, according to the Mayo Clinic, is a bacterial disease which is spread through contaminated water. Unsanitary conditions in the 1800s led to the quick spread of this disease, according to Harvard, which is caused by heavy urbanization and transported human to human along the riverboat system of the time period. The influenza pandemic of 1918 was caused by a mutated flu virus derived from birds and transported to pigs, who then transported them to humans. According to the environmental historian Alfred Crosby Jr., the 1918 flu pandemic is considered to have been started in a French army base during World War I, at which hogs were kept as livestock. It spread across the U.S. through American soldiers coming home from the war, coming up from the Western Front in Europe, and from soldiers it was transported to civilians. In 46 of the largest cities at the time, from 25 states over the duration of about 6 months, the Spanish flu killed over 140,000 people and millions of others throughout the world. In more recent flu outbreaks, mutations of the flu virus heightened again from 2009 to 2010, passing from birds to pigs and then eventually to humans. According to the World Health Organization, from an article on helium.com, 3,642 deaths occurred during this time due to the H1N1 virus and its complications in North America. A study done by the Mayo Clinic concluded, however, that this strain and current strains are not transmittable on human-to-human basis, but rather an animal-to-human basis. John Lang, the U.S. ambassador to the avian flu and pandemic, stated that if we were ever to get to the point where the avian flu was transmitted from human to human, that the world would need to react very quickly if there's any chance to avoid a global pandemic. My second point of argument states that the conditions in the United States today create a prime environment for a pandemic to occur. One such of those conditions is the advancement of the transportation methods since previous pandemics occurred. It took several months for the Spanish flu pandemic of 1918 to travel throughout the world, yet now it would take merely days, according to the historian and author Lynette Iazzoni. The Northwestern Historical Express states that while there were ships, railroads, and trucks in 1918, we now have efficient travel capabilities such as jets and modern infrastructures. These link together humans in a possible way of contagion which could spread disease across the country in record time. Also, the growth in population density and overall population has created a prime environment for a pandemic to occur. According to the U.S. government census, the population in the United States in 1918 was about 103 million. In 1960, it was about 180 million and had a density of 19 people per square kilometer. In 2010, the total U.S. population was over 317 million people, with a population density of 33 people per square kilometer. The efficiency of transmission of a contagious virus hinges upon the ability of the virus to be spread. With so many more people in centralized areas, contagious viruses have a perfect situation in which to be spread. Comparatively, the increase in livestock populations in the U.S. factor heavily into potential pandemic. Many deadly diseases, such as the flu virus, are transmitted through cows, pigs, and chickens. According to the United States Department of Agriculture, studies by the U.S. Humane Society, there were 34 million head of cattle slaughtered in the U.S. in 2010. In 1950, there were approximately 18 million cattle slaughtered. In 1950, there were approximately 69 million hogs slaughtered, while in 2010, there was 110 million slaughtered. Surprisingly, there were also 1.8 billion chickens slaughtered in 1950, and 8.5 billion chickens slaughtered in 2010. These figures represent an overall increase in the three main disease-transmitting animal groups in the United States. And coupled with the influx and density of people and the efficient methods of transportation currently available, a perfect pandemic situation has been produced in the United States. My final point of argumentation supporting that there will be an impactful pandemic in the United States in the near future is that the healthcare system is ill-prepared to defend against such a large-scale pandemic. Hospitals across America are reporting that their emergency departments are severely crowded on a daily basis. According to a survey done by the American Hospital Association in 2010, 38% of respondents indicated their emergency medicine departments were operating at or above 38% full capacity. One medical advisor commenting on hospital overcrowding stated that the ability of the American hospital to provide emergency services to its community is lost. If you add to this congestion the possibility of thousands of patients with contagious disease, you get a giant gridlock of unhealthy bodies. Besides the lack of space at hospitals, there's a lack of treatments of possible pandemic diseases. A study was done by the World Health Organization in Canada, which found that the H1N1 flu virus vaccination actually led to increased rates of avian flu contraction. According to NBCnews.com, this lack of protection through vaccinations does not even take into account the fact that the virus is constantly mutating and adapting to our immune systems, and it can possibly spread in human-to-human contact. To go along with these medical deficiencies, the current state of federal national emergency response is a major problem. In 2005, according to thinkprogress.com, it took the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, over a week to respond to Hurricane Katrina, after a state of emergency had been applied in Louisiana. Similarly, in 2012, after Superstorm Sandy, FEMA's relief efforts were deficient as well. And according to NBCnews.com, 3 months after the storm hit, over 7,000 New Yorkers were without electricity. While FEMA is not specifically a medical service, this level of dysfunction from a federal aid organization is representative of healthcare organizations as well. I have clearly laid out supporting evidence on the claim that an impactful pandemic is likely to occur in the near future, with examples of past pandemics, chronic conditions, and lack of resources. Remember, failing to prepare is preparing to fail. How will you fare the next great pandemic?
All right, Grady, you appear to be trying to give everybody nightmares, and I think you're probably doing a pretty good job of that. The claim is clearly stated. There's an excellent layout of what the secondary points are going to be. You signpost during the body of the speech, so that's pretty solid. You do an excellent job citing the historical information, and I thought you integrated contemporary information pretty well on the subjects of the ways in which the infections could be transmitted using the current transportation tools and because of the density issues. I thought all of that made a lot of sense. The one thing that I thought was a little bit underdeveloped is the current risk of animal-related diseases becoming something that would be threatening to humans. And you started to get to that a little bit with the talk about the H1N1 virus and the vaccination deficiency there. I thought you needed a little bit more information on that particular point. You need to talk to the audience a little bit more. You're doing quite a bit of reading. I know you've got a lot of data in the presentation, but I think your credibility would go up if you could do that. And of course, you had an extra couple of minutes to make that argument because it went a little long. All right, thank you.